Hey everyone, welcome to Saturday Morning Toy Tunes. It's the weekly live stream here on my channel in which we lament the lack of Saturday morning cartoons in our lives and like deal with it as a sort of weird oh my god, I'm echoing. Why am I echoing? Hang on, let me fix that really quick. Boom. Yeah, we deal with it with a very poor substitute. That is me sitting here with you all on Saturday mornings just talking about geeky stuff and try to fill that void. Welcome, and happy birthday to me. There, I said it. I am 52 today. If those of you who didn't get the reference, and those of you who came here looking for chats about DC Comics New 52 are bound to be disappointed. Let's get that out of the way right now, unless it comes up in conversation, which it might. Would be really cool if it did, actually. Wouldn't mind talking about that. It's been a long time since I've talked about the New 52. I enjoyed it. Just spoke with my neighbor out front. He enjoyed it as well. In fact, he gave me my birthday cake. I didn't have time to go to the donut shop today, but he did. So yeah, I'm gonna try a new flavored donut from my favorite donut shop. He also goes to the same one that I do, the Donut Stop on Lee May Ferry Road in St. Louis, just up the street from where I live. I usually get so lucky with where I move. Great places to go. So anyway, let's go ahead and get this weekly cleaning of the glasses out of the way, because as always, I didn't notice that they're filthy until right when I start the live stream. How's everybody doing? Lots of geeky stuff happening this week. In fact, I've been taking notes all week. Lots of cool stuff to talk about. So if nobody has questions or topics that they want to discuss in the comments, then I came prepared. How's the audio? Audio check. If there's complaints, let me know. And it will be my pleasure to totally ignore them. No, just kidding. If it's too loud, too soft, whatever, let me know, and I'll do my best to accommodate everybody. Before we get moving, though, I want to acknowledge everybody who actually showed up here early and was hanging out in the chats, doing great stuff, having great conversations, and by that I mean wishing me happy birthday. Thank you. Yeah. 52. Don't know why this one is harder than previous years. 50 was fine. I think it's because I consider 52 to be like the hump day for your early 50s. Yeah. I'll have next year, and then I'll be in my mid-50s, and that's okay. It's all right. It is what it is. I thought I kicked a dog, which is not something I like to do, at least not live. Anyway, so who do we have here today? We got Steve Nara. Thank you very much, man, for complimenting my headlines. Hello, Figurassic Park. Ahmed, how you doing, man? You're gonna be driving around listening to this stream. I find a lot of people do that. A lot of people put it on while they're driving around. Kind of cool. It's kind of like your morning drive radio program when you do it that way, right? That's kind of fun. Yeah. Oh, what's this? Everything's just messed up here. I keep thinking that I'm actually going to get a pattern down, a sort of a don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, but just develop a system in which I actually have everything ready. Maybe I need a checklist. So let's see, who else do we have here? Let's see. Figurassic Park we already talked about. Pierre P is joining us from the sunny state of Florida. I hope it's sunny, because Florida's no fun when it's not sunny. That's one thing I've found out, and also that I've heard, and it's, from what I understand, it's still getting worse. Brandy Woods gets the headline reference. Hey, Brandy Woods. And Darth Batman is here. That's good to see you, man. Thank you. I almost said happy birthday to you too. This is just the beginning of me not making sense. This is going to go on for a good hour at least. All right. Darth Batman is 42. Congratulations. Enjoy that. 42 is a good year for me. Very good year for me. What was happening at 42? What year is this? 2023? 42 is when I was hired full-time by Sideshow. Yeah. Those were good times. Had my own studio and everything eventually, so that was fun. Connor's here. Hello, Connor. Tommy K. Hey, Tommy. How's it going up there? You're in. Oh man, just one of many Canadians who join this stream on a weekly basis. So good to see you. Good. Awesome. Everybody should have donuts. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and take my first bite out of this amazing thing. This is a cheese donut. It actually has a hole in the bottom. The cheese is in there defying gravity, but to no avail. It's going to wind up in my belly anyway, so it's going down one way or the other. The Donut Stop, man. They do things right. Totally do things right. Speaking of Canadians, Gina B Collecting is in the house. Everybody check out her channel. She's got some really good reviews. I would call those reviews sunny. Definitely. Definitely. Put a smile on your face. Infectious smile. Thanks, man. Thanks. It's a very close one. Very close call. Oh, my friend Scott is in the house. Hello, buddy. Yeah, I had one last night. As I was ordering it, I was just like, do I really want to get a milkshake knowing that Scott and I are doing cheeseburgers and milkshakes later today? Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, I'll do it. Fine. Fuck it. Whatever. Oh, dropped an F-bomb. We're PG-13 and not 5 minutes into the live stream, so it's no longer good for ads. Good thing I'm not monetizing this. Ismail Rodriguez. Hello, sir. Hello. Batman and Robin figures are finally starting to ship. That's great to know. That's great to know. Yeah, I love those things. I love those things to pieces. I'm not getting them, but I think they look great. I can tell already that I'm gonna regret not making a second cup of coffee. I might have to take like a break and, like, I don't know, put on a little intermission screen. I don't have one of those, just kidding. Keith Lee is here, that's good. Is Allie with you? Did you guys get donuts today? I've kind of stopped doing donuts. In fact, I'm probably not gonna do donuts anymore. They just really make me feel like shit. They do. Not really a big fan. I love the taste of them, but I always feel terrible after eating donuts. Probably because I eat more than one. Everybody's saying hi to each other. Oh, out of the gate with the first super chat of the day is my friend Keith Lee. Thanks very much, man. Did you guys enjoy date night the other night? The one that I almost crashed? Was that originally going to be date night? Or did you make that into date night after I backed out? And how did you like the movie? Because I think me and my friends Ann and Eric are finally going to go see it. We're going to go check it out in IMAX 3D. None of the local IMAX theaters are playing it. I got to drive to Chesterfield or to Edwardsville for it. It's lame. Come on, guys. Do better. Come on. It's Avatar. For crying out loud. It has to be 3D IMAX. Oh. You're talking. Okay. Yeah. Darth Batman is saying, nice. That was a good move to suffer by Sideshow. Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. I hope they continue to feel that way. Yeah. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. I am going to be talking about that in a bit. I've actually even got a couple of photos to showcase for those who haven't had the opportunity to take a look at it. But of course, I am very excited about the General Kenobi figure. I knew they'd get around to it. I mean, nobody told me that they were definitely doing it, but I know that in the community there was some doubt as to whether or not it was ever going to happen. And I'm glad that it happened now. It's going to be a good year, possibly more until we see it. I have reason to believe that it won't take quite that long. That I will not get into here. My thoughts on it are not the kind of thoughts that would get me in trouble with Sideshow. It's just speculation. I don't have any insider info, but just knowing what I know about California law and release dates and release schedules, I think I can probably say that yeah, it's going to be earlier than that. Marty73 is also in the house. Hello. So is TK421 Collectibles. Dude, you've been cranking out the videos. I watched your Mando and Grogu video yesterday. Very well done. I like that you were able to get the two figures out and compare the two releases. The most... I'm actually making a video of one of them right now. But, yeah, it's that will be live soon. The Season 1 Mando, Beskar, and the Season 2 Mando each have great things to offer, is what I'm saying, is what I'm getting at. And I think that you're right. I think that there's very much solid reasons across the board to have both of them. I totally agree with you on that one. There were 4 peeps. I didn't know there was somebody else. Lords, ladies, lads, and lasses. Is that? Yeah, I feel like that's part of 12 Days of Christmas or whatever. Hark the Herald Angels sing. Wow, my loathing for Christmas carols has grown so vociferous that vociferous, what? Did I just make a new word? Prociferous. Look that up. I don't think that's a word. I think I just created a new word. Just conjured it. Just conjure it. Let's see. Everybody's saying hi. Commander Green is in the house. Hello, Harold. Good to see you. Everybody go check out that channel too. Well, you're not doing video though, right? You're still just doing Instagram primarily. Yeah, so everybody go check out his Instagram. Same name, same handle. Speaking of handles, get this wrap my fingers in this handle of this coffee mug and pour this stuff down my throat. I need it today. Oh, that's rad. Replenishment. Do they do that? Or did you just buy another set? And was it the season 19? Let me know. Let me know. Anyway, just for fun, I thought I'd show you guys this. This is a photograph of me from 25 years ago, so half of my lifetime ago. I shared it on my Facebook page about a week or more ago, and it's just kind of funny to see how full circle things have become because, well, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, this is not the first time in my life that I've had long hair, very clearly. That was the days that I wanted to be Eddie Vedder, probably. Not so much that as Eddie Vedder was very clearly dictating fashion. In 1995. That is not, in fact, a pull my finger pose. That's been up there way too long already. That is not, in fact, a pull my finger pose. I think I was squatting down, petting the dog. And my mom had a camera out. She wanted to get a photograph of me with the dog, and she was like, "Hey, smile for the camera." And I was too cool at 25, so I just kind of did a, kind of thing. I don't know what that was. In short, I don't know what that was. Oh man. Oh, thanks, bro. Yeah, very cool. Brandy, what did you said something like that too? Only I think you said whiskey, right? I'm aging like a fine whiskey. That's probably at least as accurate. Yeah, wine would be more subtle. When whiskey ages, it's like potent and burns your nose when you get too close, and yeah, burns your throat. Let's try to keep this PG-13. Anyway, Terry, would you say working for Sideshow is your dream job, and if so, what's it like? It's a great gig. I don't know that I ever had a dream job. I think, okay, in order to answer that, first you have to qualify what a dream job actually is. A dream job would be, for me, something that you longed to do, something you wanted to do for a good chunk of your life. And something that you might actually implement plans to, you might actually create that job for yourself. Just take steps in order to create that job for yourself. And that didn't happen with me. The 6-scale thing was a hobby, and I was a photographer, and I still am a photographer. But I just decided I wanted to play with hitting cool poses with these things and generating awesome imagery. The imagery that I generated back then wasn't so awesome. It was just basically an experiment in composition and creating good poses with figures. The inner comic book artist in me, the unfulfilled comic book artist within me, was really excited by all the possibilities of this. But the thing about Sideshow is that it happened accidentally. I did not seek employment with Sideshow. They reached out to me for something, and that became something else, which became something else, and then I became a photographer, and then I became something else. So, it's definitely the most fun that I've had, and the most fulfilling job that I've had. I will say that. So yeah. If so, what's it like? It's a job, dude. It has frustrating moments. There can be stress. You have to deal with people. You have to deal with personalities sometimes, and that can be in any just like with any job, that can be challenging. But as far as when it comes down to actually just doing the work, love it. Love every second of it. In fact, somebody was just lamenting something to me the other day about their job, and I was just like, yeah, I don't share that. Everything that I do for Sideshow, I approach with immediate enthusiasm. Yeah, you want me to do what? Yeah, awesome, I'll do that. Yeah, it's there's a joke that I think is actually kind of a poor joke. When somebody says it beats working for a living, that's the closest I've come to being able to say that, because it is actual work. So I can't really say it beats working for a living, because I actually do have to work, and I work hard. There are some long hours involved with what I do. They don't require that. It just kind of works out that way, and I just kind of enjoy doing what I do. In fact, sometimes I'll clock out and keep doing it. Yeah, at the end of the day, when it's like, oh, yeah, I gotta clock out. It's been 8 hours. but I'm not quite done with this yet, and I kind of want to see what this will do. Yeah, it's a weird middle of the road thing when you're merging your hobby and your work, but it's great. Bit more burn. Let's hope not. Do A Double Productions. Do we know each other from Webster? The goal, as always, is to try to get some of the filling stuck in my beard, so you all have to look at it for the entire live stream. If that ever happens, don't tell me. Just let it live there. I'll find out. I'll find out later. No clue how to do a posing part. Fortunately, there's a show for people like you. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Nothing lasts forever. The thing of it is that if you once you acknowledge that and acknowledge that you can't take it with you, I mean, sure, you want to keep these figures in as good a shape as you can, and I take steps in order to make sure that that happens. But if you're not willing to do that, if you're not willing to just accept the danger and roll with it, then my advice is only do those dynamic poses when you're doing something like photography or just for fun, and keep them in museum poses. You know, for the most part, all of my figures are in museum poses. I've got a clone, a 501st Deluxe clone in a flight pose. That's the only dynamic pose in my entire collection. Aside from Mark 85 Battle Damaged being in the kneeling pose in my bedroom. It's not as weird as it sounds. So yeah, that's kind of a recommendation. I hope that helps. If you want me to clarify, feel free to bring anything up there. David Lynchen is here. Welcome, sir. Good to see you as always. Oh, Darren. Okay, as soon as you said that, I was like, I bet this is Darren. I legitimately thought I didn't want to say anything in case I got it wrong, but yeah, I figured it was you. Yeah. This your first time in the chats? Let me know. Yeah. Darren, A Double Productions is a guy that I spent a lot of time with in the photography darkroom and at Webster University. Really cool cat. I kind of lament the fact that I haven't seen you in going on 20 years now, right? I think it's been easily 20 years since we last saw each other, which kind of sucks. You're a real cool cat, and yeah, I enjoyed knowing you and would like to hang out. Actually, I'm going to the faculty show. There's a faculty show coming up. Hang on, I'll check my calendar. Check my calendar here. But there's a faculty, Kellen Cunningham just texted me. That's awesome. At Webster. Coming up very soon. I think it's the 15th. No, it's later than that. The 20th, Friday, January 20th. There's a Webster faculty show at the new photo gallery in the Spare Drip building. And I'm going to be going there. Tom Barkman invited me, and I'll probably be hanging out at his place afterwards for the after party up in Clayton. So is that Clayton or U City where he lives? It's kind of like on the border of Clayton and U City, if such a border exists. That's where I think of it. Wired capes are hard. That's my thoughts on wired capes. Yeah, they're not easy. It's because there's always some rebound. Anytime you do something. Do I have a wired cape out here anywhere? Yeah, I've got Black Boba. I've got Arena Suit Fett. But he's... I don't have any wired capes out right now. But you always have to think about the rebound. Because when you try to bend it up to get that flow, then gravity is going to pull it back down a little bit. It's just going to drop immediately after you let it go. So overbend it, because you just have to correct it and just compensate for that. Plan ahead for that to happen and make sure that you complement it. Really looking forward to playing with my season 3 or season 2 rather, Mando, when it finally comes in, when it finally starts to ship. I had to send back the one that we did the video of, but that was a lot of fun. And the wired cape is a very welcome thing. That's one of the other things. I'm not sure if TK421 brought this up in his video or not, but one of the differences between the season 1 Beskar Mando and the season 2 Beskar Mando is the length of the cape. Remember that in the early parts, especially of season 1 of Mandalorian, that cape was reaching all the way down to mid-calf. And by the time season 2 rolls around, it's considerably shorter. One assumes it's because he's been flying around in his jetpack a lot. And I would imagine that jetpacks and capes are not good bedfellows. That's just me, but I'm going to assume that that's the case. But yeah, but just being able to use that in conjunction with the swoop bike, just trying to create that illusion of movement using that cape. Once you get the Mandalorian figure on that swoop bike, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'd actually planned on canceling that swoop bike until I got my hands on that Mandalorian figure, and it's moved up into I'm getting a phone call from Tennessee. That's where my future ex-wife is from, so I'm just gonna hit ignore. Hi, honey. God. I'm really not that catty. I think it's I'm pretty sure it's a spam call. Anyway, capes. We were talking about capes. Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna get the swoop back now to complement that season 2 Mandalorian, because I have plans. Yeah. Season 1 OG Mando with the blurg for the display. Season 1 Beskar Mando with the child on the pram on foot as a display, and then also Mando on the swoop bike as my third. So it'll be 3 very distinct looks once you combine all 3 of those things together. And it'll be I don't know where it's all gonna go. I've really got to get busy on finishing the basement in this place so that I have an alternative area for display. Yeah, stop using that place for storage, build a bar, decorate it with 6-scale figures. Just call it Club 6-scale, which is kind of what this is. That was almost the name of this live stream, Club 6-scale. And you guys are my posing posse. It's a trip. Oh, that sucks. That sucks. Well, I'm glad I can help. I'm glad I can help you get through your sick time, dude. That's important. That's important to have things to do. Remember COVID? That thing that used to exist that doesn't anymore? Wait, is that right? That doesn't feel right. Anyway, but yeah, COVID lockdowns were a bitch, and things like this actually help people get through. I wasn't doing one at the time, but well, I guess we were doing live stuff for Sideshow, which I think helped a lot of people get through it. But I think I've skipped some comments. Or some comments have skipped me. Allison Lee is here. Hey, Allie. Yeah, Kevin Martini Fuller. Dude. Yeah, that was a good class. That was a good class. Wonder what he's up to. If he's still out in the Southwest photographing cowboys, or if he's moved on to other places and other things. I liked that guy a lot. Oh shit, that's a custom question. Let me just clear that off there. Yeah, as always, we can't talk about, I cannot talk about custom figures or be seen to support custom figures or third-party figures in any way, shape, or form. So as such, me talking about them on this show is kind of forbidden. I get it. I do it with no complaints. I mean, it is what it is. It's fine. There's plenty to talk about without talking about that stuff. And quite frankly, there is some shady shit going on in that area. I just saw a little notification. Let's go ahead and... Holly West, bringing it. See if I can drag down here. Holly West with a super chat for $9.99. Thank you. That's going to help cover the cost of the music. And hopefully someday finance a giveaway. I already have plans. I need to... In fact, it's so close that I'm actually having to start thinking about the format. Speaking of thinking about formats, at some point I really need to talk to you guys about... I need to make some selections for interview questions, and I think I'm just gonna have a free-for-all. So by the end of the day today, be looking on my YouTube channel. I don't know how familiar most of you are with YouTube, but there is, when you go to my YouTube channel, up there at the top there is actually a little panel for community. So just hit the community tab and I will have a post seeking interview questions to accompany my Hot Ones challenge that I'm going to do, because somebody is going to be feeding me questions in the chats while I eat these hot wings, just to make everything more difficult for me. Because the best part about that show for me, obviously, is the interviews. Sean is an incomparable interview artist. Very few people do it as well as he does. And that's all well and good, but the thing of it is that it makes watching these people who are being interviewed, it makes it more entertaining. Their suffering is more entertaining because they're having to focus. And from what I understand, some of this pain gets so incredible that that it's almost like being high. You almost get like this chemical high, which makes sense because dopamine is a response to pain. Your body produces endorphins in response to pain. So that'll be fun. That'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, let's hope. From your lips to my lords and masters' ears. Ooh, that's too bad. Yeah, you do. I get. Yeah. 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 Kumar's talking about living in a very humid place, and for a time there, when I was living in Ventura, I didn't have climate control. So that's when I experienced some of some of those issues that you have with some of the fabric choices with figures. So if you're going to get into 6-scale collecting, if you really want them to last, be sure that you have some climate control. Don't try to do this hobby if you're going to be keeping the figures in high humidity. It's very, very difficult, as I'm sure you can attest. I wish I could, Kumar, there was something that you posted recently that really triggered me, and I wanted to talk about it, and I can't remember what it was. But does silicone? Are you finding that silicone oil helps? Because this is actually an area that I'm not very, very conversant. I'm not entirely sure exactly what it is that one should use in order to prevent damage to these products. I don't know if silicone oil is like a short-term solution that creates bigger problems in the future. Do organic oils work better at all? Probably not. I can't imagine that they would. But yeah, if anybody has any advice on that, feel free to let everybody know. Yeah, dude, I was in California until about 3.5 years ago. My wife and I moved to Charlotte following her job. As always, I was following her career. She was the money. I was the talent. And then COVID happened, and we had to spend too much time with each other, and we split. So that's why I'm back in St. Louis. I've been here. It'll be 2 years in February. I guess I moved back in early March, actually, but I bought this house in February. It's true. It's true. It's true. So if you really want to see... Whoa, somebody did it. Wow. Ugh. It's making my nipples hard. Oh, you're kidding me. Laura Keelis is in Minneapolis? That's just like 10-hour drive from here. If anybody there actually has a layover in St. Louis for a ridiculous amount of time, then give me a shot, man. I'll come pick you up and take you out to eat. Reach out to me. If I'm available, then I'll take you somewhere to eat up there in that general area. If we have time, we'll go to a really cool toy shop up there too. I haven't been in months. Scott knows the one I'm talking about. Just Heroes Comics in Toys. Just Heroes? Yeah. Just Heroes Comics and Toys. They sell brand new toys, and I'm talking about Black Series. I'm talking about Hot Toys. I'm talking about, you know, whatever you can imagine. It's like a miniature curated Toys R Us. But they also sell comic books, but they only sell back issues. They don't get the new stuff. And in fact, I've been thinking about going up there and picking up some key back issues if I can find anything cool. But I really don't have a... That's probably not something you should do unless you actually have a plan or an agenda. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I've got it all wrong. Desmond Hassing is here. What? What sort of an injury are you dealing with, Desmond? Thank you. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Thank you for taking the time. I wish you could stick around too. I hope you get better. Your continued good health is important to me. So feel better, get fixed up. Hope it's not a terrible back injury or something like that, because I herniated a disc in my neck right before moving back to St. Louis, and it made packing that U-Haul very, very challenging. Painful even. Yeah. Yeah, you like that idea? Yeah, me too, man. I'm excited to be a part of it. Yeah. Yeah, taking steps towards that today. Speaking of things that are happening today in my collecting world, I got my blurg in. It's part of my Christmas gift from Sideshow. Opened it up. It's in good shape. It's in good shape. So hopefully I'll be getting the Queel figure sometime this month or next month, and I can pair those two together, because I've already got Mando and Blurg up there. So that'll be fun. I thought that yesterday I would get Jango Fett, and there's a couple of Chrome Clone Troopers coming to me too. So I was hoping that those would show up yesterday, and I'd be able to show those off to you guys today, but no, they're coming today. As is Scott Heinemeyer's birthday present, Christmas present. That's right, Scott. That's right, Scott. Sideshow is sending you a Christmas present. You didn't know that, but it's true. All right. Back to Holly West Super Chat. Oh, that's a good idea. Thank you, my friend. It is on Top Chat by default. Well played. Holy crap, look at all these. Damn. Yeah, everything changes as soon as you click that live chat. I'm just going to ignore that one. Stefan is here. Hey, Stefan. Very cool of you to join me. Thank you, dude. Thank you. You know, I should have done the Witcher the Witcher pullback today. I've been on a big Witcher kick, Stefan. I freaking love that show. I think what happened is I tried watching Willow, and it didn't really grab me the way I hoped it would. And so I was looking for something to fill that unexpected void, and went straight to The Witcher. I did a full-on rewatch of both seasons, just power binged my way through them late into the evenings. And for the first time since I got it, I picked up the video game and started playing it, The Witcher 3. I put that into my Xbox, and I started playing it after I clocked out at like 5:45 the other day. Just got so involved in it, you know, and I got it periodically to like go to the bathroom or get a glass of water or whatever. Got so involved in it, by the time I looked at my clock, I was like, man, I'm getting tired. It was 1:30 in the morning. Hyperfocus. Hyperfocus. It's a thing. It's a thing. Boop. Remember that. Would love to find something. Okay. What's working? Yeah, that's hard. That's hard. This is one thing that I try to constantly remind myself, and it's that I tell myself consistently that a gig like this it cannot last. It just can't last. And I mean I get that that's kind of a negative outlook, but I'm constantly bracing for it to go away. Constantly, and that's probably just my paranoia, but yeah, dude, I gotta second this post, by the way, this comment, by the way. Brandy Woods stuff is really good quality. Brandy, feel free to share your username on there so that people can check it out. But yeah, I've got some of her work here that's just first rate. There it is. There it is. Huh. Yeah, dude. My air conditioner gave out in late July, like right after I got back from Comic-Con. And it took like 2 or 3 weeks for them to get it replaced. And I was miserable. I think I did some of my live streams here during that time. And I was, as miserable as I was, that wasn't my concern. I was concerned for my collectibles. Very much concerned for my collectibles. Every time I'd come here, I was just looking around like, oh, is anything starting to crack yet? I don't know, man. How you doing over there, Boba Fett? Looking good? Okay. Hang in there. We'll get it fixed soon. Yeah, those were tough times. But I have a brand new air conditioning. It's massive. It's massive. I went for the high efficiency one. And it's so huge, it's just obnoxious. If I'd known it was going to be that big, I would have had them relocate the damn thing. Totally would have had them relocate the damn thing. In fact, I'm still going to. I'm going to have to shell out another $1,000 just to have the air conditioner, the condenser moved to the side of the house so I don't have to look at it. It's not a bad looking condenser, it's just big. I'm like, this is a 1,100 square foot house. It doesn't need that big of an air conditioner. Yeah, it does. Okay. Oh, it doesn't stain. Really? That's exciting. I would have thought otherwise. See, you're never too old to learn new things. You're never too experienced to learn new things. Oh, yeah, that might have been it, dude. Yeah, I did see that one. And I don't know, man. That was a really cool idea. Did you do that composite yourself? Did you put those two things together yourself? Because that's just great. I hope that they see that, and if they aren't thinking about it, I hope that they are now. Talking about that, I just went back and binged, I had like an hour to kill. So I went back and I binged, Tales of the Jedi. And that bit with Yaddle just about broke me. It didn't have that much of an effect on me the first time. I mean, I definitely felt something, but man, talk about taking a character that in my mind was just inconsequential, and I think in the minds of a lot of people was inconsequential, and turning her into this... Wow. That's storytelling right there, man. I mean, and they did that right. By the end of it all, you were just like, oh no, oh no. And I'm sorry if I'm spoiling that show for people, but it's been out a while. You had your chance. I'm probably the most anti-spoiler person that I know. But even I have my limits when it comes to refusing to talk about things. And after something's been out for a couple months, if you haven't, and you've had every opportunity to see it, even if it's like life getting in the way, like, yeah, that sucks, dude, but yeah, sorry. I'm really behind on comments. Whoa! Wow, okay, I'm just gonna go and skip down here because Kumar just sent 30 Myanmar, what's oh, it's not Myanmar. Yeah, you're in Myanmar. I know where you are, but I don't know what MYR is. So, yeah. Thank you for the super chat. More happy returns today. Wishing you an amazing year. May you find success in all of your endeavors. Thank you. Thank you. I guess first I'll need to have some endeavors. Yeah, I need to start planning ahead. Maybe doing some stuff. And while we're talking about super chats, I saw that another one popped up from Brody Boy. Hello. Happy birthday, you majestic Targaryen. That's the nicest thing anybody said to me all day. And somebody just referred to me as the Witcher. So, those Targaryens are beautiful people. They really are. They got good genes. All that inherited insanity aside, I mean. Yeah. So yeah, just so people know, y'all, all the money from super chats goes back into the channel. I've got Paul Sun Hyun Lee to thank for that. That's his thing, and I'm carrying that forward into my own. Is Paul with us today? I haven't noticed him in the chats, but he's probably busy unpacking still. I'm gonna scroll back up here and try to catch some of the other comments. Yeah, dude, I would like to go back to Just Heroes soon. Not today. Not today. That's a bit of a trip from where we are. Although we are going to be halfway there when we go to Max Local Eats for the best cheeseburger in all the land. Shit. Well, so much for coffee. Can you guys get somebody to bring me a cup of coffee, please? Can you get like DoorDash for coffee? Do they deliver Starbucks? I would totally do that today. I would totally do that today. Ah. Yeah, right? Yeah, it is different. It is different. And I dig the clone Chrome Trooper is definitely different. And one of the things that I'm looking forward to, I haven't had one in hand for a while now. But when I get mine, one of the things I want to look at closely is that the patina, if you will, it's not exactly chrome, it's just like a more muted chrome, just like a metallic chrome, and I want to look at it and I want to compare it to the images of the Super Battle Droid, because it seems like that Super Battle Droid, I don't know, I just have this feeling that that Hot Toys does stuff like this as like an experiment when they're working. Okay, let's just say that you're 6 scale figure company. And you've got a figure that you want to make, Super Battle Droid. So you have to figure out how to get to this place with this metallic sheen, a very signature metallic sheen that's not based in reality because these things were created digitally. So you're trying to recreate this digital creation in a physical world, but you're not sure if it's going to work or not. So you have to spend time and money to develop this thing. And, well, maybe you want to do a test. And maybe you want to do a test in a way that you can actually make money by doing the test. So you're like, all right, well, we've got these other figures that come in various color palettes and shapes and sizes and whatever. So why don't we just do a version of that using this thing that we've developed and see how it goes? And see, and people buy it, and you've kind of, and two things happen there. One, the company makes money off of that figure, but the other thing is they've also offset the cost applied towards the later figure. In this case, what I'm talking about, of course, is the Super Battle Droid. And I mean, isn't that brilliant? If I'm not, I can't say with certainty that that's what Hot Toys is doing, but seeing this figure and seeing the Super Battle Droid made me think to myself, that would be a great way to do it if you had a 6 scale company. Yeah. You make money off of another figure, and you also kind of shave some bucks off the cost of developing that newer figure. So anyway, just a thought. Only a thought, not insight. Wow, that will suck me in. Yeah. Yeah, it has, dude. It's been a lot. It's a lot of fun. I haven't even gotten that far. I think now I'm like at 9 or 10 hours worth of playtime, and I'm just now at Vizima. Just now, I'm getting ready to leave the palace. It's Vizima, right? I'm not as good at remembering names as I used to be. Yeah, yeah. The first time that ever really happened to me was, I think, when I was playing Halo. The original Halo. And I do remember being awake at 2 o'clock in the morning the first time that the flood showed up, and being so tired that I was just practically hallucinating, and just legitimately like knees pulled up to my chest, cowering in the corner of my couch, like, what the hell is happening right now? Because I had a great surround system. My roommates worked at a hi-fi stereo shop, so we had the best equipment at the time. I think our sound system, in that we had a rubbish apartment, 3rd floor walk up, just cheap. I think the rent there was like $4.95 a month for 2 people, and like split, $4.95 split between 2 people, and our sound system, I want to say that it was valued at like $20,000. Just absurd. I figured you were younger than me. Yeah. Yeah. Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's catch up sometime soon. Yeah, definitely do that. That would be really, really cool. That would be really cool to see you on the 20th. Yeah, the more the merrier. I'm just gonna have a little bit of filling. So filling. I can see why that would happen. I've actually made a conscious and informed decision to stop buying video games until Halo 7 comes out. Or whatever the next game in the Halo universe is. I'm still hoping they do some like expansions for Halo Infinite. I think that game has potential for expansions there. By the way, everybody, that's Brandy Wood's site. Click that and go to it. Oh yeah, dude, that's true. Yeah, we gotta hook up for one of those shows at some point. Are you gonna go to Anthrax? Because I'm thinking about buying tickets for Anthrax. So, it's Anthrax and I can't remember who else. It's another band that I wanted to see. But Anthrax is legitimately the last of the big 4 thrash bands that I have not seen live. Finally saw Megadeth this summer, and I would really like to just round it out. You know what I mean? Oh, thanks. You know, I don't think that's bad. But I haven't done a great deal of comparisons. Yeah, it's Gina. I don't have to tell you. I don't have to tell anybody out there. There's a certain contingent of people in the webosphere who just they look for things to complain about, and I feel like it makes them feel relevant when they do. Sometimes there's a legitimate gripe, but by and large, I feel like the detractors are just doing it for the attention. It's like those, I call it armchair quarterbacking. Those, you know, the hairy six-pack guy who just sits on his couch any given Sunday just bitching about the refs' calls, bitching about the coaches' calls, bitching about the players' decisions, and I think it's very, very similar. I think it's a similar mindset that goes into all those things. Holly West is taking off. Thanks again for that super chat, Holly West. Appreciate you. Boy, this is really tense. This music is really tense. I feel like I need to use this song for a video, if I haven't already. Yeah, it does. It really does. It's I had this thought, but a lot of people take exception to the patina, the metal, the finish on the second Mando, on Mando season 1, the Beskar Mando season 1, and they feel like it doesn't look right. Now I've just been shooting, and it really plays well with studio lights. I think that my favorite Mando to shoot in studio was probably Beskar Mando from season 1. But I think that on a shelf, just looking at it, there's a definite improvement looking at Mando's, the new Mando on the shelf. You'll find that's true. Did you not see the thumbnail? Oh God! Oh, we're back to that, are we? Okay, finally getting caught up. That's cool. That's cool. Wait, what? Are you not familiar with Tales of the Jedi? You're probably gone already and not hearing this, but yeah, if you happen to go back, then I'll shoot you a message and be like, dude, you gotta get on Tales of the Jedi. No bickering, you two. Don't make me come over there and get between you. It's true. It's true. And I actually just cut like half of my beard off. Yeah, this is trimmed. I probably cut 2 inches off of it this week. Do we know each other? MZFR. I feel like, let me know if we know each other, please. Yeah, you know, and I've been listening. There was some, I watched the first 2 episodes of The Bad Batch. And I saw some commentary, and people were just, one of the most common comments that I caught was that Omega is the weak link. To which I just gotta say, you know, there's still people who say that. I don't think that you're getting it. I don't think that you're getting it, because I still remember a time when I was very enthusiastic about Clone Wars in season 1, season 2, even season 3. And people were saying the same thing about Ahsoka. So, you know, all this has happened before and it will happen again. Yeah, you're just those who forget history, and you're totally repeating history here. Because I'm telling you, I said it before season 2 dropped. Omega's story is the focus of this series. That's the reason for this series existing. Mark my words. Mark my words. She is going to. Not only is she not the weak link, she's going to be not a link at all. She's going to be the focal point. This is her story. This is her story. Yeah. The Bad Batch, they're just players in her story. You wait. Our Captain Fordo is here. Hey, dude. Thanks, man. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say. Well, yeah, that last bit is a little, yeah, not sure. You're not 5 hours away. I mean, maybe by plane. That's, yeah. What kind of hypersonic jet do you have? TK421, it should just be, you should just be able to, like, I don't know, maybe, did you make your channel private or something? My birthday cake is almost gone. Oh, that would be fun. I totally almost fell backwards off of my stool just then. Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. I hope not. Okay, here's what I hope. If it's going to be die-cast, I hope that it's just the legs, because that, much like K2SO, that's going to be top-heavy if you do it all die-cast. So if they do some die-cast elements, I hope they do it in such a way that it just offsets the center of gravity, lowers it a little bit, so that it has less of a tendency to fall. And it just remains stable on a shelf, even if you don't use a stand. Which, by the way, kids, use the stands. Oh, yeah, good for you, bro. Good for you. That Hunter figure is good. It's a good figure. Wow. I would totally trade... I regret selling that Shore Trooper. I have the others. I have 2 of the Grunts and 1 of the Commander? Squad Leader? Which one's which? Hello, Night Friend. I'm here with my birthday cake, aka donut. And I guess I breezed by it, but I saw that my neighbor Jay was in the chat. So hey, Jay, if you're still listening, Jay's cool cat, geeky guy like me. I've been really lucky with neighbors. The new neighbors, I don't know much about her. She's really kind of. I'm gonna go with shy, at this point. I'm gonna go with shy. But it's gonna be hard for her to replace my previous neighbor, who was a 70-something-year-old retired school teacher who is just a freaking badass. Had chickens, always gave me eggs. It was fun talking trash with her. She was a really cool chick. I'm actually going to a birthday party at her place, or a party at her place next week. So we're staying in touch. Oh, that's not for me. Okay, there we go. All right, that's good to hear. It's nice to be validated. So thanks for bringing that up. Thanks for replying with that. Yeah. So yeah, companies like Hasbro have said that's why they do so many repaints and re-releases of clones and other troopers. So that's a way to generate money to develop newer molds. It's the way of life in the toy industry. Yeah. Hope people are paying attention. Oh, that's it. Black Label Society was the other group that I really wanted to see in that show. I still haven't seen them. In fact, I haven't seen Zakk Wylde at all, with Ozzy or without. So that would be that's a killer show. I think I'm gonna have to go to that. I think at the time that it dropped, I was financially strapped. I've got some disposable income at the moment, but yeah, I think I'll get a couple of tickets and take my buddy Eric. He's the one that took me to Megadeth, and I don't think he's seen Anthrax either. Dave Mustaine blew my mind at that show. And he was really, at the end of the show, he was totally, because they didn't open. I can't remember the name of the band that's well, they opened rather. They were the middle act. Megadeth was actually the opener for the headliner. And I can't remember who the headliner was. I left. I didn't even stick around to watch the headliner. I just went there to watch Megadeth, and then I was like, "You want to go?" And my friend was like, "Yeah, let's go." But seriously, at the end of it all, you could tell he was just totally giving a big F you to the headliner, because he was just standing out there accepting all the adulation, just like multiple bows for the longest time. I mean, they could have done another song in the amount of time it took for him to bow to the audience and accept all those accolades. It was really fun to watch. I was just like, good for you, bro. You deserve better than that. All right, photo. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll say it. I've said it many times, and I'll say it again. Hot Toys is in it for the long haul. They're not, they have a plan. Yeah, they're very, very clever. And they are to be emulated. In fact, I think there's a lot of what I see happening with Hot Toys is also happening with X06. I think that Nanjing Tam is really on point with that. I think that guy, didn't I have something? Yeah. I keep forgetting that I've got all these notes that I took. The thing about Nanjing Tam is that he's fucking fearless. he doesn't care about hurting people's feelings. Well, that's probably unkind, but he'll be blunt. And one of the things, I guess he's getting a lot of feedback from people about maybe the occasional delay or something. But he actually said on social media, "We are not operating a lemonade stand down the block," which is the best way for him to say, "You don't know what you're talking about. You don't have any idea what goes into the production of these figures. I do. So back off and let me do my job." And I just totally applaud that. The fact that he is in a position where he can do that without fear is enviable. Here's something that I wanted to ask you guys. I had a reason to watch Ready Player One briefly the other day, just a scene in Ready Player One. Remember that race, the car race in Ready Player One? If you were going to be participating in that race, what would be your car? What would you be driving? H had Bigfoot. Parzival had the I wanted to say the Mandalorian. Parzival had the DeLorean, just a DeLorean, not a Mandalorian, just a DeLorean. And of course, what's her name had Akira's bike. But what would you be driving? Speaking of the Bad Batch, somebody got a budget increase. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background. If you can tear your eyes away from what's happening in the center, what they're intentionally drawing you towards, and just look at the stuff happening on the periphery, and both in terms of the environments and the sets, but also the secondary characters that are interacting in the background, they've elevated themselves. They've gone to the next level. It's very exciting to see, and that was always a legitimate disappointment that I had when watching the original Clone Wars, is that they clearly didn't have the money or the assets to produce a fully fleshed out world. So you would get these worlds that were just barren in some regard, or just had like whatever elements were necessary to further propel the narrative. But it never really felt like a fully fleshed out world until much later in the saga. And now they've taken that and they've added all new assets and developed entire worlds. Just that opening scene in episode 1 alone is worth holding up and saying, look what they're doing. I think you can actually see that as a short on YouTube right now. The crab theft, the crab haul or something like that. Haul, wow. Yeah. That was the second half of the comment, so I kind of... Wow, man, so many comments. Okay, I'm just going to fly through these really quick. What time is it? It's been an hour. Okay. Yeah, I think so. It's really pathetic. It is, what happened there. That guy was just a pedantic son of a bitch, and... Yeah, it's... And there's a lot of those guys out there, too. Pedants. Absolutely. You're too kind, my friend. You're too kind. Yeah, Darren, yeah, get on that, dude. It's yeah, you've got to watch Tales of the Jedi. It fully fleshes out. There are 3 Count Dooku episodes. So you get a kind of an origin story of what drove Count Dooku to the dark side. And it serves great. It serves as a filler for that particular character, but it also serves as a cautionary tale that might actually have real world relevance. So yeah, it's definitely worth exploring. And just the Ahsoka stuff alone, I didn't really pay attention to the Dooku stuff the first time I watched it through. I was really hyper focused on Ahsoka's stories. But the second run through, I allowed myself to really pay attention to the Dooku stuff, and it's so good. You know, I don't have a lot of experience with quarter scale hot toys. I've had hands on the Mando, and I've had hands on the Mark 42. And I will tell you this. like I said, sometimes when I'm doing my job, it's the job. I'm just doing the job, and sometimes I'm so focused on doing the job that I don't take the time to appreciate it from the perspective of the 6-scale action figure fan that I am. So at one point, I'd gotten up from the table and I'd walked around and was doing stuff in the house, and I'd walked past the studio again and glanced in there, and I saw that Mark 42 standing on the table, on the shooting table in the studio, and I was like, damn, that looks good. They definitely have a presence. My heart still belongs to 6-scale though, both for its I just really like the smaller footprint of 6-scale over quarter scale, allowing you to have more in a smaller bit of real estate. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I'm not sure what that... I think there's a typo in there somewhere, man. But I think I get your point, and yeah. Oh, hey, okay. So there's the answer to that question. Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, same. I've got, in fact, the last... Not the last night. Revenge of the Fallen Optimus is coming here on Tuesday. I'd hoped it would be here by now, but... UPS is slow at the moment. Post-holiday blues. Yeah, you know, they had that Jetfire on deep discount for daily deals, and I almost pounced on it, but I didn't have the Optimus yet, which is really a big part of the reason why I would like to have it. It's a big figure. Big figures make big footprints, and so I kind of backed away from Jetfire at first, but we'll see. If there's a slow month and there's nothing for me to pick up for my monthly figure that I really want, then I might swing that way. Oh, wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? That's a cool thought. I like that. That's why I'm here, Darren. That's why I am here. And I'm excited to see that you have a channel too. I'm interested in seeing what your content is, so I'm going to be checking that out later on this week, if not over the weekend. But yeah, it's I'm happy to bring people a Star Wars fix and hopefully give a little bit of insight. I've been monitoring Star Wars all my life, and I've got a particular lens that I look at it through. So hopefully that provides some valuable content or insights to people. Yeah, you're a girl. A female. It's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, let's not forget who her twin is. Basically. She's Boba Fett in a female package. Oh, God. Have people bitched about that? That's exactly the kind of thing that Toxic Troll fanboys like to bitch about. Oh, God, they're doing Boba Fett, only it's a girl. Guys are so lame. There's Jay. Hey, Jay. Man, how far behind am I in the chats? Fuck. I'm never going to catch up. Do we have, like, a lot of people here? I haven't even looked at the... Oh, I don't think we've ever breached 40 viewers at any given time. 40 concurrent viewers at any given time. And we still haven't done it today, but we've come close. Yeah, you know, I think you're probably spot on with that. I keep thinking of what's her name, Nyla Dickinson. Is she the one that did the costumes for the prequels? I wonder if she had anything to do with that. I should pay closer attention to that, because there were some cool costumes there. I was thinking about Solo last night at like 2 in the morning, because that's usually when I think about things like that. And you know, in hindsight, you can really see that I can really pick up on bits where it just became Ron Howard fixing things. You can still see bits of Lord and Taylor, but yeah, that was just an unfortunate bit of stuff that happened there. Again, I think that the creative people Disney and Lucas are still trying to figure out what they want to do with the films. Yeah, that's the one. I've got a pat my own back here. I've got an amazing photo that I did of it. I've got a cool photo that I did of. I took that guy and I took the Death Trooper specialist to the beach, and I just tried to do some forced perspective stuff with it. Worked kind of. If I'd had more abilities insofar as post-production goes and doing doing composite work, then it probably would have turned out better. But it was a step in the right direction that I just never followed up on. Dude, seriously. I really have been digging watching Dan Slott come down heavy on those guys. Because, yeah, if anybody's going to know how true to the comic book She-Hulk was, it's going to be that guy, him or John Byrne. And I don't think Byrne's weighed in. I don't think he'd bother. Why would he? Slott's got his own contingent of haters, though, so I'm sure that probably played a role in his deciding to speak up. Oh, well, you guys already have a problem with me, so what have I got to lose? You're wrong! And they are. Yeah, that's so true. My mom was an educator. She was a teacher's aide. And so when she would have her coworkers over, just overhearing their conversations was... They were very careful not to drop names in my presence, but... yeah. Yep. That's it. Yeah, I think they referred to... Didn't they refer to at some point... They referred to Boba Fett, without using his name, as Alpha. That's going to be interesting when they finally bring him into it. And the fact is that the Ahsoka TV show takes place how many years after the Bad Batch? So we could feasibly have an adult Omega by that point. Middle-aged Omega? So that would have to be like 19 years until A New Hope. Another, 3 years between A New Hope and Jedi, or was it 6? Somebody help me out here. So figure, let's call it 25 years plus whatever age she is. What is she, 11? Figure Omega's 11. It's funny because 11 from Stranger Things. Anyway, and then another 7. So she could feasibly be like around 50, middle-aged woman at that point. Middle-aged clone. And she doesn't age rapidly. She ages at the normal rate. So, yeah, 5-finger death punch. I would need more than 5 fingers to count the number of ways that I don't care about that band. Yeah, it's yeah, just not my jam. I never listened to them before. I listened to them before the show just to familiarize myself with their content, and I knew going into the show that I wasn't going to want to stay. That would be a great show. I saw Queensryche on the Empire tour back in the day up in Springfield, Illinois. So a small venue. So that was really awesome. And I never saw Priest, and I probably won't now. Oh, that's right, it was, wasn't it? Okay. All right. Yeah, stainless steel straws for me, babe. Yep. I just said babe. I would say that to anybody. Don't take that as a sexist thing. Yeah. In fact, I was just watching this great interview with Ian McKellen, where he was talking about, visiting particular areas of the UK, and you would hear just big burly men just referring to each other as love. Hey, love. Yeah, and it's just, I think that's brilliant, just to have that confidence to just be able to express your affection towards another man without feeling like you're going to be maligned for being somehow less masculine for it. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was actually the real reason that I went to that show. Yeah, Megadeth was great, but I was really excited to see The Who. And if you guys haven't checked out The Who, wow. That's HU, not WHO. But they're a good band too, but still. Tumbler full of whiskey? What? Oh, that's okay. Oh my God, we're just now getting. I'm so far behind. Oh, you saw the Who in St. Louis in 2019. That's awesome. So what are people saying? David Lynch would be racing the Tumbler. That's a good choice. Maul's Sith Speeder. That's I never would have thought of that. That would be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun. Kit is cool. I loved how Parzival had the kit, the lights at the front of the DeLorean. That was a fun little mashup. Sebulba's Pod Racer. Solid choice. Oh, no, that's not cheating. That's not cheating at all, dude. Are you kidding me? That would be a riot to see that thing erupt in that race. That would be amazing. All these cars, and here's the black line. That would be amazing. Oh, these are great choices. Oh, hey, Jen Edwards. Welcome. Yep. Robert Parisho is here. Hey, Robert. Oh, God. Jump back down. Yeah, man, that's right. We've got I'm missing a lot of shit. Had the Ghostbusters no ghosts on the side doors and the kit light on the front. So that was true. That's accurate to the book, but they didn't have the Ghostbusters thing on the side. Will they do that? I don't know, man. I don't know. Hard to say. I do not do conventions with myself. I just go there and hang out. Funny thing, it's like in the past decade, the only convention at which I did not get approached by anybody who recognized me was the one here in St. Louis. The one town where I know the most people. And no one recognized me. It was kind of nice to be anonymous. I won't lie. Yeah, you know what? I don't think I appreciated it. Laura's saying the Ahsoka's fight with the Inquisitor was so good, and I don't think I appreciated it the first time that I saw it. But this time when I watched it, I was like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's right up there with Obi-Wan's fight with Maul, the final fight with Maul. Just in its, relative understated nature, the fact that it was just extremely short. And I think that most sword fights, and if you ask a sword guy, then they'll say that most sword fights don't last that long. Most fights in general just don't last that long. Ha! Dude's a Darksider. Even before he was a Darksider, he was still at least somewhat a Darksider. Keep in mind that by the time that happened, he had already slaughtered a village of sand people. Spoiler alert. Oh, okay, gotcha. Sorry, man. I'm finally getting caught up here. Really? Huh. I think too young. No. Would she be too young? How old is Frankie Adams? By the way, I don't know if you've noticed this but I make a very concerted effort when I'm on Facebook, when I'm using GIFs, to only use Expanse GIFs. And I also pronounce it GIF just to trigger people. I really don't care how it's pronounced. Yeah, I've talked about this on the, all of us out there have talked about this on the channel and in the chats. The fact that, like when you, like the kids that were kids for the prequel series, that's their Star Wars, and the kids that were kids for the sequel series, they'll watch that and then they'll go back and watch the OT and they'll be like, well, this sucks, because they lack the imagination to fill in the gaps, because we didn't have the quality of CGI that they have today, that they've grown used to today. Our imaginations just kind of had to fill in the blank. I mean, just look at the stuff that people found horrific in horror films back in the 50s. I mean, my mom talked frequently about how terrified she was by Dracula. And I went back and watched that. I'm like, well, that's not scary. That's just neat. I look at that now just at the cinema for the cinematography. And that's it. That's legitimately it. Or just comparing it to just looking at things that were lifted from it and used with Bram Stoker's Dracula by Coppola later on down the line. But but I think to a certain extent, kids these days are spoiled by the quality of the animation, so that when they go back and try to watch something that's older, they're left wanting, for lack of a better word. Yeah, don't hold your breath. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see a season 2 of Book of Boba. There it is. Thanks, man. Thanks. Producer's producer. I wish. I'm working on that. I'm taking classes. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And I want to be very careful here not to give the impression I'm saying that that those of us who were kids when the OT came out, that we have some sort of a, I don't know, divine right of like our opinions on the matter are somehow superior, even though they are. But oh, that's it. Sorry, Darren, but yeah, I just caught a glimpse of that. Trisha Bigger, thank you. Yeah, great stuff. You probably looked at the book, but anyway, getting back to this. It is. It's definitely different. And in a way, I really don't envy the people who have been born so long after Star Wars. I mean, yeah, they're going to get continued content, but there's, you know, it's the two types. You get the kids who've seen the more recent spate of movies, that was their first exposure to it, and they're the ones who look back on the OT and they're just like, well, that's somehow inferior, just based on the CGI or whatever. Maybe the jokes weren't that relatable, or the way that the actors behaved wasn't that relatable to them. So that just makes it somehow less relevant. But then you also get on the opposite coin, you get those OT kids who were kids when the original trilogy came out, and now the subsequent sequel, the prequel films, the sequel films, all the TV stuff is coming out, and a lot of those people are just judging those shows and films and saying that they're somehow inferior. So and somewhere in the middle, you got people like me who have legitimately enjoyed every offering of Star Wars that has come down the pipe, even at the moment that it was happening. Except Rise of Skywalker. Some things can't be forgiven. No, it's true. I found some things to enjoy about Rise of Skywalker, but there were some bad decisions made there. Yeah, that's cool. It has good bits. Yeah, Enfys Nest being one of them. Yeah. It's not anti-man, it's anti-dickhead. Talking about She-Hulk here. It's not anti-man, it's not anti-dickhead. I am all man. And that show was not about me. That was not about me at all. Yeah, those people out there who are getting hit by She-Hulk, they're not men. They're piss ants. They're weak and pathetic, and I've been very, very clear about my feelings on that. So if you identify with the crowd that She-Hulk was slapping, I can't help you. You need to help yourself, because that is not a segment of the population that I want to identify with. It's not anti-man. It's anti-asshole. Yeah. I think she'd be a little younger. I think she'd be a little bit younger. Because maybe. Because how long did the Clone Wars last? 5 years? And we saw Boba age a little bit. He went from being like 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old, something like that. I'm not sure exactly what age he was supposed to be. They weren't clear on it. But I can't wait to get these next 3 comments. Okay. But I think that she's a little bit younger. I don't think she's the exact same age. So yeah, that would make them both like middle-aged. Yeah. Even though Tim Morrison is definitely a little old to be playing middle-aged. But actually, now that he's trimmed down, he's looking pretty good. He's looking really good. In fact, he's inspiring me. I need to go out and go for a run. OG fan when Star Wars was just Star Wars. $5 super chat. Thank you very much, man. Thanks for all the great poses I borrowed. Keep them. They're yours. They're yours now. If you don't like Omega, you're not paying attention. Boom. That's a fist bump. That wasn't a punch. Jay Krausen, my neighbor Jay. Yeah, it is Rosario Dawson. It is Rosario Dawson. In fact, hold on. Let me think. Oh, you haven't watched The Mandalorian yet, so you don't even... Yeah. It's you haven't actually seen her as Ahsoka. But yeah, it's Rosario Dawson. It's got characters in it from Rebels, so you need to catch up with Rebels. Yeah. Got some catching up to do, homie. I don't usually say homie. Felt weird coming out of my mouth. Yeah, I think a lot of people do. It'll be interesting if and when it happens. And I'm trying to decide if that would be a good thing for a potential season 2 of Boba Fett, which again, it's not happening. It is. It is just you. Just kidding. Oh god, I'm gonna catch up come hell or high water. I've got 40 minutes to do it. Oh, that's hilarious. You know, I went to a show. I went to a show to see Firehouse recently, and a Great White opened up. Jack Russell's Great White. I think there are 2. Like Jack got kicked out of the band, but he was so wasted. He was just drunk, falling off the stool. It was such a shame because I saw them in their heyday, and they were a great show back then. But he was just wasted. Well, hey, Greg the Media Geek. Thank you. Thank you. Hello again, AJ. Your beard is magnificent. Yeah, that's just the weirdest thing. I mean, I've never been a woman, but I could see that there are women out there who do feel that way. There's also... I've also experienced women who take it to the extreme, and yeah, they do paint all men with a broad brush. And that's just, everything happens on a sliding scale, man. It's people try to polarize things, and other people who don't, who like hang out in the middle. But yeah, it's a sliding scale. There are assholes in every school of philosophy, school of thought. Hey, Kenny, thank you. Yeah, I think I'm wondering, Steve, does a lot of that have to do with Bobby's with Frankie's Kiwi accent? No, they couldn't use the voice actor from the show. I mean, there's a reason why they picked who they picked to play the voice of Omega. They picked a grown woman to do the voice of a young girl. They're planning on aging that girl up, and they want to be able to keep the same voice actor, rightly so. By the way, I finally saw a photograph of the woman who plays Omega, and she's gorgeous. I will say that unabashedly. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman. Yeah. Anybody else ready for this song to end? Because I am. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the evolution of the tech was happening concurrently with our own evolutions, one hopes. Which apparently didn't happen with a lot of people. you see in conversations evidence of a lack of evolution in some people's perspectives of Star Wars. It's really weird. A part of me wants to go back to school and study psychology and do like, just write the definitive work on the subject. Yeah, just that kind of thing in geek culture. What drives it? What drives people to feel the need to behave badly when talking about pop culture stuff? Silly. Yeah, again, spoiled. Yeah, the volume of stuff that's coming out. Somebody posted on Twitter the other day something to the effect of "We live in hell" is what they said, and what they meant by that was they were showing the release schedule of films this year, and it was just all pop culture related stuff, sequels, reboots. We've got Fast 10. You've got Shazam 2. Yeah. I can see the point. I would really, really like to see a return by Hollywood, on the part of Hollywood, to more original content, more low key, less blockbuster oriented. But again, the money's going to be there, and they're going to go where the money is. By the way, I saw this great post on Twitter. Really great post on Twitter. And I wasn't going to do this, but I may just give you guys like a synopsis of it. But if you want to go visit Twitter, then you can look up Peter Klein's, at Peter Klein's. That's Peter, then Klines. And his, let's see. He's talking about the Netflix cancellations and theorizing about the business decisions behind it. And just trying to give the Cliff Notes version of it, it has to do with residuals. Because apparently, after a certain point, there's the amount that they have to pay to the creatives in the films, like, goes up. They're only required to... I can't do it. I cannot even try. I cannot even give you a synopsis of it because I've only read it once, but... I've seen a few folks discussing the latest slate of Netflix cancellations, and I thought, hey, this is the internet. I should share my thoughts. All right. So let me tell you what I think is going on with streaming shows right now, but first a little history. Back in ye olden broadcast times, creative folks in television made a lot of their money on the back end, what publishing folks now call the long tail. Sure, you got paid for that episode, but you also got paid the first time the network aired it, and also when it got replayed later in the season, reruns. And the big dream was syndication, when you'd make non-stop money. Okay, not tons of it, but with syndication, those pennies could add up. These are residuals. Actors get them, and writers and directors, even the crew. Yeah, IATSE crew members got residuals. The biggest ones, really, which tends to come as a shock to many folks. That's why IATSE had that amazing health care plan for so many years. It was funded by their residuals. So anyway, back around 2006-ish, many folks noticed their residual checks were shrinking a lot because episodes weren't getting rerun and things weren't going into syndication. Why not? Because the studios were streaming them instead. Miss an episode? Watch it online. Hang on, said the creative folks. Where's our cut? You don't get a cut, said the studios. Check your contracts. Nothing about the internet in there. Well, let's put it into the contracts. Ha 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 ha, no! And thus we had the Writers Guild strike of 2007-2008. So the WGA struck to get new streaming terms put into contracts. The actors, SAG, and the directors, the DGA, supported them almost immediately. IATSE did not. That's a whole other story. Anyway, the strike was overall successful and new terms became standard for streaming residuals with one catch. And I think that catch, that concession, is what's shaping a lot of streaming decisions right now. You see, in negotiations, the studios kept insisting they weren't sure streaming would make money. Even though, for example, NBC was going to the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas and saying they expected to make $1 billion in online revenue that year. They insisted the creative folks agreed to a, quote, free window. For a set number of days, a network can stream a show and not pay any residuals. This is where it gets, yeah. This would let them recoup costs in the uncertain world of the internet. Once the window's passed, residuals would flow at the agreed rates. The window? 24 days for new shows, 17 for established shows. Networks can stream a brand new show for 3.5 weeks and pocket every single cent of revenue they earn from it. Does this time frame sound familiar? Do you ever wonder why on so many network sites they'd show you the latest episode, maybe the previous 3, and then you have to sign up and pay? It's so they don't have to pay residuals. As long as you're watching in that 24-day window, they don't have to share a penny. It goes on and on, but go look up that Peter Klein's and see where it goes. And that's just one side of the conversation. I haven't followed up to see what other people are saying about it. But I'm running really, really behind on these comments, and I want to be able to keep up. Thanks, man. Yeah. Great show. I just binged it the other day. Like, legitimately binged it in a night. Again. Willingly. Enthusiastically. Around 3 years long for Clone Wars. Okay. God, I'm so far behind, guys. I gotta come up with a better system for this. You know, it's good. It's fine. It's, we all age. Look at us. Me. You. Yeah, we're getting there. 52. Yeah, not only did Rebels have some of the best Star Wars story arc, but Filoni and company created a mythology. And I think that we're seeing evidence that mythology is going to continue. The world between worlds, that's going to be a thing in the Ahsoka show. It's kind of a guarantee at this point. So yeah, I mean that's crucial. That's something that the world between worlds is something that's so powerful that the Emperor was desperate to get his hands on it. Yeah, I think you can pretty much guarantee that we're going to see a lot of that in the Ahsoka show. Oh man, don't add to your waistline on my account, bro. Grabbing donuts in my honor. This might be the last time anybody sees me eat a donut on the show, by the way. I think I'm done with that. My waistline has increased a fair bit, and I don't want that trend to continue. That's it, Michelle Ang. Yeah. Beautiful woman. And she's, yeah, you can see that the age, you can hear that the age of the character has hair. The age of the character has increased. You can hear it in the voice. So she's definitely older now than she was in the, obviously older now than she was in the first season. We talked about this last week, Ruby Dog. I'm interested. Were you trying to, when you broke it, is it because you were trying to push that elbow? Because yeah, you shouldn't. We covered that. But yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you. But yeah, I think there's very definitely a reason behind that. Hot Toys doesn't do anything without a plan. And the same with the armor. Those costumes are very, very much tailored, and they're very kind of form-fitting. And if you bend that past 90 degrees, and collectors will, you did, you tried to. If you bend it too far past that certain point, it's going to put an undue amount of stress on that fabric. And my thought is, and this is pure conjecture on my part, my thought is that 90-degree elbow was used in an attempt to limit that and to make sure that people didn't stress that fabric too much and cause problems for their figures over time. You can get a ton of great poses out of a figure with a 90-degree elbow joint on it. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I've loved the poses that I've been able to get out of the armor of figure. So I don't belong to that camp of people who's going to complain about that at all. I just, yeah, it's like I said, Hot Toys does not do anything without a plan. They knew what they were doing. What they did, they knew their audience. They read the room, and they knew that, well, if we do this suit properly, if we have it fitting properly, then it's going to put some stress on that elbow. So we better do whatever we can to make sure that doesn't happen. And that's why they put that 90-degree thing in there. Right. The other option, I guess, would be to use spandex, but you know. It totally is, right? Thank you, Chris Kaz. Thank you. Skip that song. I'm done with Juggernaut March. That one sounds promising. Hey, well, never mind. Thanks, Brandy. Next time, shoot me a text. Hey, man, you don't have to answer that question from Uber Dog. I got it covered. Yeah, man. Yeah. That's a good example. That's a good example. Yeah, Hollywood knows what they're doing. They're making money for the audience, but there is a smaller audience out there, and I think that the future for those people is just going to be an independent film. We're going to go back to the '90s where the independent film market was a thing. And I don't know what goes into distribution, how difficult it is for independent films to be distributed. I guess that's what the film festivals are there for, trying to shop for things like that. I don't know. Yeah, again, that sucks, dude. I'm really sorry. It's heartbreaking. Reach out and see if you can get a replacement. But it's heartbreaking when that happens. I can't remember the last time that I actually broke one of my own figures. Broken a ton of sideshows. Shh. Tell no one. What? Is that true? Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I will back you up 100% on that. It's the Hollywood has run out of ideas thing. Nah, it's just marketing decisions. I get that. They're trying to make money, and they should. I want movie companies. I want studios to make money so that they can keep making more movies. Can you imagine if they stopped pumping out stuff that made a lot of money for them? It's just like what we were talking about earlier with Hasbro and Hot Toys doing these things where they're making repaints and all those other figures of clones and of stormtroopers. The reason for that is because they're making more money so that they can make more figures. Do it. That's fine. You don't have to buy it. Unless the goal was to posit younger Boba with, again, idealized middle-aged young body Boba. I think he was managed to hold under the growing love of the Mandalorian, but he's the OG bounty hunter. All these things are true. I think that we saw in Clone Wars, we saw a lot of the struggle that Boba Fett had to endure growing up, a lot of his growing pains, and how he got sucked into the criminal underworld and became the bounty hunter that we all know and love. But I think, yeah, maybe I think that his time with the Tuskens did a lot for his own sense of honor, and also gave him a longing to have a tribe. His time with them was a real catharsis that changed him in a profound way, and that's why their deaths, spoiler alert, impacted him so heavily. And because of that, he started seeking that out elsewhere. Let's face it. I haven't finished reading The War of the Bounty Hunters yet, but I kind of feel like this is the first time that show was the first time that we saw Boba Fett being that honorable. But I could be wrong. I did read the Legends Bounty Hunter stuff, but Bounty Hunter trilogy back in the day, but I've forgotten everything about it. I couldn't tell you a single plot point. Moving along. Where? And I've got one right here, man, and I'm telling you, I think that it has all the points of articulation. It's been a long time since I've looked at a Black Widow figure. I have one on a shelf, but like maybe no, because it's got the double jointed neck, right? So that's not the issue. I'm not sure what you mean, bro. Not sure what you mean, man. I don't think that's true. Yeah, and again, it's conjecture on my part. I'm just it's educated guesses, basically. I don't know. I'm not privy to that information. I don't get to sit in on the meetings at all. But it just makes sense to me. I mean, my favorite jacket that I had for like 12 years. It was like my signature jacket. It was not cheap. But finally I had to give it up and it was fitted. It was tailored, and well, not tailored, but it was fitted. Just nice, solid tailored fit to my arm. And eventually the elbow's ripped out. It's just the way of fabric. That's just what happens with elbows and elbows on clothes. It's something you have to look out for. And I'm just glad to know that Hot Toys is looking out for me. Because quite honestly, it wouldn't have occurred to me. I would have been one of those ones bending it past 90 degrees. And again, it's like I said, you have a choice. When you're confronted with something like that, you have a choice. You can be reactionary, and you can go with your knee-jerk reaction to be like, well, what the hell were they thinking? Or it can just be like, wow, I wonder what they were thinking. And then approach it. You can approach it with outrage, or you can approach it with curiosity, and then try to figure it out, or just go with a response to it. So I think that I chose to go the other way and look at it and just try to evaluate exactly what their thought process was. Reverse engineer it, if you will. Whatever. I do not hold myself to any contract to be. I'm not liable for instant replies to private messages. And no one should be. Yeah. But I see your point. Oh, dude, I'm all about James Gunn, and I understand the need to make changes. And if I don't know what his plans are, but apparently he and everybody else thought that those plans could not involve everyone's favorite Witcher, my favorite Witcher, and also my favorite Superman. Okay, yeah, benefit of the doubt. Go for it. Just give me good content. That's all I care about. Give me a good movie to watch. Boom. What I said. Yeah. Nailed it. Oh, you think so? Because I feel like he's got the walk. I feel like he's got the Jeremy Bullock walk down. I don't think that's just him walking the way that he walks. War of the Bounty Hunters is a graphic novel. It was a comic book series that came out. It was a crossover event that happened in the Marvel Star Wars universe about 2 years ago, a little bit more than that. It actually just launched in a hardbound omnibus volume that you can pick up from Amazon pretty cheap, or you can go buy it from your local comic book shop and support local comic book shops. Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was really cool. Yeah. Yeah, I'll take a Tim Morrison cameo anyway. You know, he signed my Boba Fett helmet. Yeah. Hang on. Focus. There we go. Cool, right? Yeah. Hope I don't kick that later. I probably will. I'm assuming when you say brothers, you meant the brother clones, right? That's the thing, is I don't, it depends on what school of thought you go with, but I think that the general understanding is that most clones, the ones that were made for the Republic, their growth acceleration aged them out long ago. So let me think here. I have to struggle to think of the timelines and everything, but Obi-Wan takes place pre-New Hope. That clone looked pretty old. I don't know how old that they would be. I mean, like, is there like an old folks home for clones that he could visit or something like that? I don't know. What would really make me happy though is if they retcon that whole notion that, because yeah, they had to do growth acceleration to grow the clones to fighting level, to fighting age. But there's no reason why with their technology they couldn't just trigger a switch that would stop that biochemical process that causes aging. In fact, that's in the news lately. Scientists are actually working on fighting off aging. So if we're that close to doing it, then there's no reason to believe that a technologically advanced society like that in the Star Wars galaxy, like the Kaminoans, there's no reason to think that they wouldn't be able to do such a thing. Accelerate that aging process until you get to a particular age, then boom, throw a switch. Why wouldn't you do it that way? I mean, if you're going to be accelerating the aging process of your clones, you don't want that aging process to continue at an accelerated rate all the way through the wars that you're fighting. You don't want obsolescence in your clones. You want those things to age at a regular rate so that you can use them. If anything, you would think they would make the decision to just click to turn off the aging process altogether and keep them in that peak fighting age. That's just the way that I'm thinking about it. But I just don't like the idea that, of course, we saw in Rebels that those guys aged quite a bit. By the time Rebels happened, the clones that we did see were all pretty old. Yeah. Oh boy. I'm happy to help there, Darren. Happy to help. You know, when I was a kid, figures didn't have elbow bends. You know? It's true, man. It's true. Those figures were just, in hindsight, were just so lame. It's like you had this, and that was it. Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. You know, a lot of that outrage, I want to say, is faux outrage. There's a contingent of reviewers and people out there who thrive on it. It's a tried and true method of gaining attention and getting clicks in the modern internet age, and they're feeding off of that. They're definitely trying to stoke outrage and take advantage of frustrations in order to get clicks. And that's it works. It's a very successful business model, and as evidenced by a lot of the people out there who do reviews. And I get it. I understand the reasons behind it. I choose not to participate in that, but because I genuinely just don't care. I'm like, oh, 90 degrees. Oh, I can work with that. That's legitimately how it goes. There's like that moment of surprise, like, oh, yeah, okay, well, I'll just do this then, and I move on. It's easy. It's easy. You're still getting an amazing looking figure. Here, hold on. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, and I've got photos. Did I do a video of this? I'm like George R.R. Martin. When he writes, he actually has to reach out to fans and ask, hey, think about doing this with this character. Is that character still alive? George R.R. Martin actually has to consult his fans as to whether or not his characters are dead or alive, which is a riot. But you know, I mean, she doesn't do much. You don't see her doing severely bending her elbows and everything. When she swings these things, she's swinging them in like huge arcs. They're very long weapons on her small frame. So you don't need a double joint. And again, like I was pointing out, I mean, now this one is quite a bit looser than the Bo-Katan. But you know what I need to see is I need to see this figure stripped, because that would help me argue my point or argue against it, and maybe make me see the light. But at this point, I love this figure as it is. I'm like, okay, 90 degrees, fine. Exactly, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's less of a problem. He's getting fit. He's looking good. And that was just an unfortunate circumstance. I think Morrison was genuinely surprised to be brought back. He never imagined that he was actually going to be playing a fit-ass bounty hunter again. You just have to overlook it. And what are they going to do? Recast? No. It can only be Tim Morrison playing Boba Fett going forward. I said Jeremy Bulloch earlier. Is that right? I always embarrass myself by getting names wrong. Hello, Steve131. I was going to click on your thing, but for some reason, the chat chose to automatically elevate itself. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly my point. And so were Wolf and Gregor. It's going to be interesting to see how old, if they age Cody at all in Bad Batch. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, should have done that. So apparently they didn't do that. That sucks. Yeah, and there's no retconning it now at this point. Although they've already done some retconning in the post-Disney Star Wars, because remember they did a mini series of Kanan for Kanan back when they first started doing Marvel doing Star Wars stories, in which they gave the origin story, his Order 66 story. They told it in that book. And then they came back in Bad Batch and redid the whole damn thing. Just completely different origin story for Order 66. Well, we're going to talk about that later because I don't know what that is. Yeah, I know they retconned that the gray-bearded rebel who was on Endor and said, well, yeah, that's Rex now. Okay. I'll buy that. Yeah, I wasn't talking about you being angry. I think, but I think that there are some people out there who are. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to lump you in with those. That wasn't my intent. Once you brought it up, I automatically just started thinking about the people who have been angry and whose comments have been very, very angry. Did you take apart the figure? Did you break down the costume and everything and just get a good look at it? Because that's not something I'm brave enough to do. I'm definitely not brave enough to try it. I mean, if it's a costume that would very easily come apart, but Hot Toys is very specific about certain costumes that shouldn't come apart. And I want to say, just looking at it, yeah, this is not one of those costumes that you should take apart. Look how great that leather looks on the back. You can get that to focus. That reads really, really well. Yeah. And by the way, I know a lot of people have suggested that this is actually her hair coming out the back. It's not. I got a close-up look at it. It's definitely not her hair. It's definitely a fur of some animal that she's killed. Yes, that is in fact a regal robot mythosaur skull hanging out in the background there. Yeah, TK, I don't think there's any other way that I would want to pose the armor. It's legitimately that amazing fight scene where she walloped the hell out of all those stormtroopers using nothing but the tools of her trade, and just ends with just that pose, that ready pose at the end, like who's fucking next? You know, that's thanks, Bad Wolf. But that's really all that I ever want this figure to be. That figure will never be out of that pose now. Now that I've done the videos for it and everything, I'm just like, that's all that I need. That's all that I need. And she's always going to be a character that's kind of displayed like in Mando's shadow. Like if you do like there's a 3-point display system that I like to use when like my in like DTOFs and what, like one figure's in the foreground, then 2 other figures are flanking it and slightly back in the background, almost like a bodyguard position. And that's kind of where I want her. And I want her and Heavy, Paz Vizsla, to be kind of behind him, like definitely motivating forces in his life, who just led him to where he is today, but also maybe slightly at odds, definitely slightly at odds in season 3. More on that later. Figures couldn't bend, that's true. Turn the head, shoulders, legs, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, 99 on Prime? Is that how many? Jeez. And I was freaking out about the 55 on what's his name? Megatron. Nick Klaus is now Rex. Okay. That was his name. Nick Klaus was his name in the show, the character's name. That's kind of too bad. Nick Sant, that's it. Nick Sant. So like Saint Nick. Sideshow made that figure. It's out there. You can get a Nick Sant figure. They had a trio of Endor commandos. It wouldn't suck to have Karen Travis's books back as actual live action, for instance. But I really do think that the closest we're going to get to that is Omega. It's Omega. is Gregor. I think that's the closest that we're going to get to it. Oh, Premium Prime. Yeah, I never got that one. I've got Premium Bumblebee. That's a great figure. In fact, after I got Premium Bumblebee, I stopped picking up DLX because the difference in detail between the DLX figures and the premium figures is remarkable. It's remarkable. And if I'm being fair, it's Hot Toys should pay attention to that because they really do set it, because 3.0 really sets a standard with that. And I think that because as your scale increases, then the opportunity to increase the level of detail in things like weathering, paint chipping, scratches, everything, the detail needs to be heightened the bigger that the figure gets. And there are collectibles companies out there who don't do this. They will basically just blow up a smaller version of the figure that they've done before, and that's basically it. They don't take advantage of that opportunity to bring more detail into the piece. Trying to think if I have one of those, an example of that, and I do not, but I've seen them. I think about that with the earlier Prime 1 pieces. That's what turned me off of Prime 1. And I've since gone back, and this Prime 1 was brought up to me a few weeks ago, and I kind of said the same thing that I'm saying now about them. And I've gone back since that conversation and actually looked at Prime 1's recent work. They've come a long way. That's a solid company. They're doing some great stuff, which at that price point, well, you kind of have to. Yeah, same here, bro. Same here, bro. Yeah, I'm not sure how much of the I'm not sure if you watched Book of Boba Fett, but he's definitely slimmed down significantly between his appearance in The Mandalorian and his appearance in Book of Boba Fett. And I'm assuming that trend is going to continue. Fingers crossed. Come on, dude. I'll work out with you. That might be what it takes to get me back in the gym. Oh, I can work out with Tamara Morrison? Where do I sign up? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's something that I try to caution people about is, you got to roll with the punches. You know, it's important in order to continue enjoying your fandom, enjoy the things that you enjoyed as a kid. Then you have to roll with changes, and if you're not willing to do that, then you might feel like you're getting some enjoyment out of it because of the bickering that ensues. But do you really want that amount of negativity in your hobby? Because I don't, you know, I really don't. I mean, it's just like, I hate football, hate it. So I don't go to football games, and I don't go to friends' houses who host football game parties and stuff. I don't do that. It's because I know I don't bring anything to the conversation that's positive. So I don't, and I feel like that's really, I hope that other people pay attention to that, and I hope that they think that that's the good call, because I think it is. The world, it's a big wide world, man. There's a lot of stuff out there, and I would say this, to bringing the conversation back to She-Hulk, I would say this to all the people out there who are just talking about how She-Hulk's rubbish. It's inarguably not rubbish. It's a good quality program. It's just not for the same people who enjoyed the first Iron Man movie necessarily. I mean, I think the first Iron Man movie probably appealed to a lot more people than She-Hulk does, but there is room in the big wide world of geek culture for a book or a movie or something to be aimed at a niche. And maybe in being aimed at that niche also steer a conversation in a way that makes people outside of that niche think about that niche in a different light. Or not. You know, and that speaks more to the quality of the person doing the talking than it does to the quality of the show. So I don't get that reference, but yeah. Oh, Christopher Colvin, you got here just in time for me to say goodbye because it is now 11 o'clock and I've hit my limit for the live stream, which just so happens to coincide with yes, very much so, yeah. Yeah, just look at 90s Tony Stark in Iron Man 3. That guy was fucking deplorable. And we probably had a lot in common, actually, now that I think about it. But I've grown as a person, and so did Tony Stark. But the fact is that those guys are out there, and She-Hulk was addressing those dudes. And if you felt attacked by She-Hulk, you probably ought to, because I'm just as male as the rest of y'all, and I didn't feel attacked at all. Quit Your Niching is gonna be on a freaking t-shirt for sale on this YouTube channel. Thank you, Jen Edwards. That's brilliant. Oh, nice. Okay. It's been ages since I watched Ben-Hur. What's this? I just want to make sure that I'm not getting texts from Sideshow saying, shut up! Huh. It's my wife. Future ex-wife, wishing me a happy birthday. I guess she does care. Anyway, yeah, that's it. There's so many things out there to do. You know, I don't like Willow. You don't hear me complaining about it. There was who was it that actually put it in a pretty concise way? There's like this contingent of mostly male individuals who are making their hatred of She-Hulk, for instance, a focal point of their existence, a defining characteristic of themselves. And seriously, I mean, is that what you want to be renowned for? Is that the hill you want to die on? Because you're dying on it. Progress is progress. I mean, this is the way that society's moving, and just roll with it, bro. Because, and I did use the term bro specifically. Yeah, you're fighting a losing battle. I'm not siding with you. Bingo. Oh, does he say that? That's interesting. I like Kevin Smith more and more. Now, mind you, that doesn't necessarily mean that I enjoy his films more and more. I haven't really been drawn to one of his films in a while, as much as I've tried. I have not yet seen Clerks 3. The one prior to that, I just couldn't get into. I sat through it and was just like, okay. Then wound up doing other things while watching it. That is fun. The first Ducati I had, the person who adjusted the valves the first time did it poorly, and the bike was never the same. The second Ducati was sold before I left California, and I'm kind of in the market for a third. I like those scramblers. I really like those scramblers. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I have to go do birthday stuff. I don't even know what birthday stuff I'm gonna do, but I can't stay on here all day. I can feel my voice going away, and I do have some audio to record later today. So I need to at least have some. It's like, for those of you who actually watch the videos that I do on Sideshow, I challenge you right now to, like, if you happen to view one and I sound a little bit raspy, then let it be known that this was the weekend that I recorded that video. Oh, that's intriguing. Was it? All right. All right. I'm going to remember you said that when I watch it. Oh, God. What should I do today? Oh, yeah. When I get off here, I'm going to have to go into the community tab and start that post for questions. And can I just say, guys, if you're going to like drop ideas for questions for my interviewer to ask me during the Hot Ones challenge, keep them interesting. Just try to think of stuff that, you know, if you think that there's even a potential that I've been asked this question before, like either on the live stream or whatever, then don't ask it. That my interests are wide and varied. It's not just 6-scale. I like music. I like rock. I like movies. I like TV shows. Obviously, I like photography. I like motorcycle racing. Just consider what, or even if it's something that you've never heard of me being a fan of. Probably shouldn't ask me about politics. But if you do, and the whole idea is that I'm not going to know what these questions are. I'm not going to see them at all. Somebody is actually going to be curating them for me because I want to be surprised by them. I totally want to be surprised. Huh. That's interesting to know. Is this on YouTube? All right, I'll look for that. Thanks, Gina. I trust your judgment. All right. Yeah. You guys have a good day. Have a good weekend, and have a good week. And I'll see you back here hopefully next week on the 14th, bright and early, 9 a.m. Central Time. And until next time, be good to your plastic.